overall, I still like these so freaking much, right? But the thing is, it's like, you know how some people have like ugly kids and they act like the kid isn't ugly, like, oh, look at him, so cute in the sweater. It's like, you're like, yeah, maybe if he just covered his face up with that sweater, sure. But I know that these are not going to be everybody's ideal thing, right? But I like them a lot.
What's going on, people? So I remember saying at some point during the Lux review that I did that, you know, I wasn't really sure when I'd pick up a pair of like the standard Kayano 32s, right? It wasn't high on the list or whatever. But here we are. Needed some Comic-Con shoes, right? Me, mom, aunt, you know. So this was a pretty good choice. Figured, why not? Let's do this, right? I did look at some other stuff. I mean, I'm a big Asics guy. I've said that many times. But I was thinking about maybe going the Brooks route. But like the Brooks shoes that I looked into, or that I was thinking about, the product cycle's coming around again real soon. And I don't really like buying stuff that's about to be replaced. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a thing that I'm into. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Because those shoes are still going to be good. But if I'm going to buy like a Ghost Max shoe, like, may as well get the 3, right? But the 3 doesn't come out till next month. So Comic-Con was just a little 2 weeks early, right? If it had been a little bit later, might not be doing this review. Anyway, so what is this thing called? What is this? Winter Sea and Midnight. Okay, yeah, right. This right here, the Asics Gel. Wait, let's back up. Did you see the side of the box? Were you able to see that? You weren't. I know you weren't. There's a picture in there. Anyway, so now that's out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this thing back on track. This right here, the Asics Gel-Kayano 32 in, what did that say? Winter Sea and Midnight. You know, these color choices they go with sometimes. I mean, I guess you don't want to just call it blue, I guess, because there's a lot of shades of blue, right? Whatever. Let's move on and talk about these things. Down there on the bottom, what that looks like, to me anyways, is basically the same thing I've seen on the last couple Kayanos, right? Yeah, it switches up just a little bit year to year, but barely, you know what I mean? But I do like the colors on a lot of these, so there is that, right? Now moving on up here, midsole and stuff. Pretty much just all the same, you know, white works well on these and stuff. I won't complain about it like I did with those 90s. A little bit of branding in the front and the back and stuff to let you know what all's going on in here, right? And then switching over to the inside, basically the same thing as you saw on the outside, but this time you can see that little guidance system in there for support and all that good stuff, right? Because these are a support shoe. So that's the thing, if you need stability and all that good stuff, definitely something to consider. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump on into getting you a couple other pictures here real quick, right? Now there's not a whole lot to see with these, right? They're a very plain look. Honestly, it's pretty much just the 2 colors, right? The blue-ish color and the dark bluish color, right? But I mean, I think it works, you know, it's just, I'm saying, not a whole lot to show. But anyway, so real quick before I go showing you some pictures that you may not need, or maybe I'll just show them to you right now. Not a whole lot has really changed between the 32 and the 31, which is kind of a good thing. Asics doesn't always do these huge overhauls of things. Sometimes they just find what they need to shift, and they shift that. So overall, difference being the shoe is going to be lighter in weight and breathability because of some changes to the upper, and it's going to be more comfortable overall because there's a little bit more cushion in the front. The back is the same as it was last year. The front is the only thing that changed. So there you go. Now you're all caught up, right? So anyways, as far as the upper goes, it looks pretty nice, right? Same thing you've seen before, you know. It's got, you can't really see like the underlayer and like a different color like you can on others, right? It kind of gives you an idea of like what all's really going on. This one, it's all kind of just like the one flat color, so it doesn't look as cool in my opinion. But it's still a nice color, right? So you got that. And then on the side here, one of the differences from the Luxe version was that on this one, on the Luxe version, this was basically the same as like last year's Platinum and everything, right? Silky smooth, flat, plasticky sort of decal thing. This one over here, it feels a little cheaper, but it looks a little better in some ways, right? So there is that. And then one other little difference as far as like the visual goes, just a little bit. When you get back to the back piece here, right, where you have all that branding and stuff, over here, you have the same thing, but you have those little dots under there, right? It's a nice little texture to it. I do like that. On this one, you still can see like a little bit of a texture to it, but it's it doesn't really show up so much visually speaking, right? So that's what's going on there. And really, like, until we get to the inside, that's pretty much the only change from the upper, from the standard to the luxe, which, I mean, if that's worth, what, $5 or $10 or something? I don't think it was like a $20 price jump like it was last year, but, I mean, if that's worth it to you, then cool. Though this does have a little gradient on the midsole too, right? Which I think is kind of nice, but this only works on some colors in my opinion. This one, I think, is better being plain white, whereas this one looks better because it has that. So, you got that. Anyways, moving on and all that good stuff, right? Back end and stuff, like same as it's been. Got the pull tab on there and all that. It's very handy. I kind of doubted it at first, honestly. What do I need a pull tab for? I can put my shoes on myself, you know? But then I used it and I was like, well, this is more convenient. So I guess you win this round, Asics. And jumping back over to the front here, these laces, like I said, a little bit of a darker bluish sort of color, kind of a navy color. At the top, you got some kind of dirty nonsense on here. I'm just now noticing that. Almost looks like glue stains or something, but whatever, doesn't much matter. Behind that, simple tongue, very thin. That's one of the changes from last year, right? They used to have those big, thick, cushiony tongues and stuff, which I can see some people might like or whatever, but from a running perspective, it does kind of make sense to make that change. And again, these are going to be lighter in weight overall, and that's part of the reason, right? You cut where you can, especially if it's not going to hurt anything. Jumping down onto the inside. So this one, on this right one anyways, you're going to have the Asics A. On the other one, you're going to have whatever that says about carbon something or other. So that's what's going on. Like I said, minor difference from the others, from the Luxes, because those both have the same A on the inside, right? And no fancy inside like they had on like the Platinums and stuff. So you don't really get a lot with the Lux this time around, you know? But again, it wasn't as big of a price jump, so I can't really complain a whole lot. But otherwise, I think that kind of covers everything about the visual. I'll tell you how I feel about these things real quick in case you're curious. If you're not, there's timestamps. You can skip on past this. I like these, right? Now, when the Kayano 32 first came out, I wasn't big on like the color selection, and I'm still not huge on it, to be completely honest. But this one is a good one, right? The others were just, you know, they had a lot of lackluster nonsense going on that I just was not into. But they usually fix that later. But either way, so I was thinking about this one initially, ended up getting Lux because it seemed cooler, and it was. But now that I have this one and I can look at it in hand, yeah, it is pretty nice. Is it run out and buy it right now nice? It is not. Like, if I did not get this shoe, I would not be thinking later, like, man, I kind of wish I had got that. I should have got that order in earlier, kind of missed out. No, I would not feel that way, not one bit. But that's not to say I don't like it. I'm just saying I wouldn't miss it if I didn't have it. And I would be completely fine waiting on something else. But again, it's going to be a nice new shoe to break in while I'm walking around. And because these are good running shoes, I'm definitely going to put some use to them. Can't complain about that, you know. I'm just speaking on it as far as how I feel about it. It's a cool color, but I'm sure a lot better colors will come along soon when they do their next release or whatever. I hope. Like, it shouldn't get worse, right? You would hope it wouldn't get worse. But now that I've said that out loud, now I'm kind of wondering. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, so all in all, I'm cool with these. I'm liking them a fair amount. So I guess that's all that matters, right? Am I cool with like the amount of money that I spent on the thing that I got and all that good stuff? Yes is the answer. So there you go. Anyways, so now I guess we'll go ahead and do some sizing, some comfort and whatnot. Why did I say that twice? I don't know where that came from. Anyways, sizing, comfort, let's do that and whatnot. I bought these true to size. That is a 9.5 for me, right? The reason I do that is because it's been working out on the last several models, basically all the running shoes that I bought for the most part, minus a couple Gore-Tex things. Works out great, right? Fits just like the last year pair did. It's gonna feel a little bit better though, honestly, because again, there's a thinner upper, more breathable. That's always a nice thing, right? Without that thick tongue, like I do kind of feel like a little more secure in here, right? When I tighten up the lace and stuff to go running and all that, it does feel a little bit better to me. Also, the comfort in the midsole here, like I was saying, you know, they added in an extra 4 millimeters of Flight Foam Blast Plus, right? To the front end, the back end is the same as it was last year. but it does make it overall more comfortable. And so one of the things I've said before, I'll say it again, is like when you buy like a running shoe, like if you're just gonna go walking around in it, you're kind of like losing out on some of the stuff you pay for. So if you're gonna planning on running in these, like you'll notice those differences because like they do kind of play into like a better running experience, you know, a little bit more explosivity, if you will, like for the from the toe off. Your feet aren't gonna be so warm. Like there's gonna be like a nice little breeze in some ways, kind of going through there, a little better than it was last year. But if you're just buying these to walk around in them, I mean, you're still gonna be good with them, right? Like they're not uncomfortable. You just won't get to fully see some of those improvements that they've made, right? Which is why I'm often like, maybe don't spend extra money on some of that stuff, right? If it's gonna be solely for that. But you know, that's just if you specifically just want a walking shoe. My parents, my aunt, they do kind of, they like to go out there and try to exercise a little bit, so it'll kind of work out for them. But all in all, everything here is really nice on the comfort side and all that good stuff, right? Summer's coming around. If you want to get out there and kind of be comfortable with it, this is going to be something to consider for sure, right? It's not the only thing out there, right? There are other things, but like I've said before, I'm a big Asics person. One thing I will point out though, in case you are considering something else, right? Because maybe you don't like a lot of these colors, and I totally get that. This right here, the Brooks Glycerin GTS 22. I would also suggest these. It's very much like a similar thing, right? Like got a nice cushiony upper, nice cushiony midsole, but like not too crazy with it. You know, it's still stiff enough, right? But with some give in there. And this is the support model. So again, if you need support and stuff, these will have it. So yeah, and Brooks, they've been doing some pretty great things with their colorway options. I'll give them that. So yay for them, you know. But that's it for me. From me to you. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. What do I have to do now? Some follow-up reviews on the shoes down here on the floor. Later, people. So real quick about these Kayano 32s, right? I know I've already done the performance review, but that's kind of running and stuff. So as far as this one, like wearing these to Comic-Con with all like this long standing, long walking, all that stuff, trying to like maneuver through the convention center and all that, right? And still get a run in here and there, right? I don't know that there's anything else in my lineup that I would have rather had over those, to be completely honest, right? Because they were just working out great. Not saying there isn't other stuff on par, don't take that the wrong way. I'm just saying these held their ground exactly how I wanted them to, so I've got zero complaints about these overall. Everything I wanted these things for, they're doing a great job of it, so take that, do whatever you want to do with it. I think I've said enough about the 32, so you won't hear from me about that again till the 33 maybe?